Thank you for staying tuned. Well, the bearish sentiment seen since the beginning of this week seemed to have spilled into midweek trading as the oil share index traded low 0.04% at intraday. Let's get some update from Temple. Hello, Temple. Good afternoon. Okay, bring us up to speed with today's market activities.
Well, good afternoon, Chimeze. As we speak, the market is still in the negative territory, down some 0.53%. We also have some 154 million units of shares done so far in terms of transactions. We've also seen about £1 billion naira worth of shares traded in the market. However, if we're looking at the key drivers of the market at this point in time, a lot of losses around the banking names, around the consumer goods segment of the market. These are the two key sectors that also pulled back the market into the negative, into losses basically when it comes to year-to-date returns of the market, where as of yesterday, we closed some 0.37% in year-to-date. And if we go by what we have right now in the market, we must have done something close to 1% in terms of year-to-date losses. So the financial services sector, the consumer goods names, are the two sectors or segments of the market that have been dragging the market lately. The oil and gas segment of the market has actually been scared from this particular amount of losses that we're seeing in the market. However, this afternoon we saw a bit of an uptick in a couple of the oil and gas segment of the market, oil and gas names in the market. Eternal PLC has gained some 4% plus, 9% plus. And that is about the only sector that seems to be looking good at this point in time, in spite of the fact that 11 PLC 2 days ago notified the market of plans to release its earnings for 2018 calendar year to the market. So one thing that a few traders understand about these recent losses and the fact that elections are over, we still haven't seen the markets, reacting positively to the end of the election. I think it is just that the foreign investors, foreign portfolio investors, are still edging out of the market. Don't forget, some weeks to the presidential election, a lot of the FPIs came back into the market with some expectations. Unfortunately, I think those expectations weren't met, so they've been looking for ways to go out of the market. But we've been seeing a lot of investors, domestic investors, showing interest in the market, given the level of dividends that have been declared on Zenith Bank, Guarantee Trust Bank, and a couple of other companies in the market, Nestle as well. So as they make entry into the market, we'll see the exit of some of these foreign investors. That's the understanding that some traders here have shared with me. And so it looks like that is what is really playing out in the market with the kind of sentiment that we're seeing. Because if you look at the prices of a lot of the companies that really moved up when the FPIs returned to the market, at this time they have really reduced. If you talk about the likes of Zenith Bank, which touched some 23, 24 naira before we saw the entry of before we saw the release of its earnings, and then it moved further to hit 26 naira. Now, Zenith Bank is down to 22 naira. If you talk about the likes of Dangote Sugar and Dangote Flour, Dangote Flour in particular, at a point in time, up until yesterday, was up some 8%. Year-to-date returns was very, very positive, and it was even outperforming the consumer goods sector of the market. So, for now, Dangote Sugar, Dangote Flour are both down almost 4%. So this explains the kind of sentiment that these few traders believe that it's the exit of the FPI that is continuing to reduce the market. However, there's light at the end of the tunnel because there are lots of companies that are yet to release their earnings into the market. By the time these banks, Axis Bank, UBA, FBN Holdings, that are currently weathering the storm with a lot of entry of domestic investors in the market, by the time their numbers come out in the market, we should be able to see a whole lot of increase in the key benchmark indices of the market changing for good, Chimeze.
So you're looking at the fact that those earnings that are yet to be released, when they are eventually released, will of course rebalance the market, as it were.
positive, very, very positive about that. A lot of investors are positive. I am also positive about that. That will really change the paradigm for the market by the time the earnings start trickling in. You know how it is, Chimeze, when it comes to production, we usually get much busier with these numbers when they start trickling in. The possible reason why they have delayed up until now was because of the election. And thankfully, elections are over. For the few states that have their elections inconclusive, we already have the understanding from INEC, announcement from INEC that on the 23rd of March, the supplementary elections will hold in those states. And so I think when it comes to the investing community, and of course for the markets generally, that understanding is there already that the coast is almost clear for the market and for investors to start making full entry back into the market. So that shouldn't delay the release of a lot of these earnings going forward. Chimeze.
Well, Temple will keep the positive spirit going. Thank you. We'll move on now. Tanzania plans to raise its total spending in 2019-2020 slightly to 33.11 trillion shillings, with the funds going towards improving roads, railways, and rural electricity supplies. The spending is up from 32.48 trillion shillings in the fiscal year that will end in June. In its budget presentation, the finance minister said the government plans to borrow 2.32 trillion shillings from external non-concessional sources, with 2.78 trillion shillings coming from concessional loans and grants. The government plans to raise 23 trillion shillings from internal revenues, and the budget will have a deficit of 2.3% of gross domestic product. A final budget presentation will be made to Parliament in June. And South Africa's ABSA is considering entering Ethiopia, where lenders are hoping reformist Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed will liberalize an antiquated and state-dominated banking sector. Ethiopia has long prevented foreign ownership in economic sectors, including banking, but Abiy has embarked on rapid political, diplomatic, and economic reforms since coming to power in April. An entrance into the Ethiopian market of 100 million people, while not imminent, would be part of a strategy ABSA laid out after its split from Britain's Barclays in 2017. An African bank, a small South African lender which is trying to rebuild after nearly collapsing under the weight of bad debts, has appointed Thabo Dolte, former CEO of Insurer Liberty Holdings, as its chairman. Dolte, who is also an ex-CEO of Old Mutual Investment Group and Liberty Holdings asset management subsidiary, Stanlib, will be a permanent replacement for Louis von Zerner, who left African Bank last July. African Bank was bailed out with a 10 billion rand capital injection from a consortium of lenders in 2014, when the South African Reserve Bank stepped in to arrange a rescue after the lender said it would need to raise $800 million to cover bad loans. And that's it on the program. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago.